저희 팀원들 5명 다 블리즈컨에 처음 하게 됐는데
저희 5명이 뭉친 지는 한 8개월 정도 됐고 저희가 각자 포지션마다 저희 팀 다 잘한다고 생각해서 모았기 때문에 저희 팀은 어느 팀보다 제일 잘하는 것 같아요.
일단 저희가 한국, 중국 다 이렇게 해봤잖아요.
일단 한국이라고 다들 들으면 게임을 가장 잘하는 나라라고 생각하잖아요. 다른 팀들이랑 솔직히 저희가 친해요. 근데 그 팀들을 대표해서 저희가 한국 대표로 온 거니까 마냥 기쁘지만은 않고 부담되는 것도 있긴 한데 그래도 꼭 한국 팀으로 왔으니까 꼭 이번에 우승하고 싶어요.
그 기존에 중국이랑 대만 사람들이랑 해보다가 북미 유럽이랑 하게 돼서 햄버스통은 북미 강호팀이기도 하고 하지만 근데 저희 팀이 준비만 된다면 질 것 같진 않아요.
일단 실력적으로는 걱정되는 건 하나도 없고요. 만약에 뭐 새로운 챔피언을 쓴다든지
일단 우승하는 게 가장 중요하기 때문에 우승을 하고 좀 그런 걸 생각해야 될 것 같고 우승을 한다면은 뭐 어디든 기쁘게 놀러 다닐 수 있을 것 같아요.
작년에는 저희가 없어서 뭐 C9이 우승했지만 더 쉽게 우승했지만 안 될 것 같고요.
The Heroes of the Storm World Championship is brought to you in part by Intel, Windows 10, T-Mobile, and MasterCard.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Heroes of the Storm BlizzCon World Championship opening week. I am Babel. Joining me today is going to be Gillyweed, as well as the only thing that I like more than my legendary French fries, the Frenchman himself, Latard.
Thank you very much. That's a great introduction here, even though I'm absolutely sure that it's a lie.
Oh, you know me. So we have some real questions here for Todd. So we just saw Dignitas losing to Cloud9. I believe he's got some real... Oh, look at Gilly. He's got some real comments about that backstage.
Yeah, you're from Singapore, right? How's Southeast Asia doing in the tournament?
Bad.
Bodied.
Bodied, really. So I guess we still have another EU hopeful for all of you EU fans out there, and that will be Na'Vi. This next game is going to be really exciting. Na'Vi versus the best from Korea. Some say the best in the whole world, and that is DK. To bring you more, we have Anna.
Thank you, guys. This is going to be a fun one. We have Europe up against Korea, and of course, these are professional StarCraft players in the past, and we have seen the dominance of Korea in professional StarCraft, so we will have to find out whether we will see it in Heroes as well. With that, of course, I will introduce you to your blue team from Korea. It is Team DK. And from Europe, trying to uphold the European name after we just saw their cohorts fall, Dignitas. It is going to be our red team, Na'Vi. Now these teams, just like the teams before them, are fighting for a guaranteed spot in the semifinals at BlizzCon. And that, of course, is quite the advantage. That brings them closer to that $500,000 prize pool. It guarantees them a day where they can rest during BlizzCon. But that can be both an advantage and a disadvantage depending on how the team decides to use that time and that confidence. Commentators, tell us what you think. Is this going to be an advantage or a disadvantage for these teams?
Right on that, Anna. I do believe it is a bit of both because the teams that win here, which includes Cloud9 from the series before, will have to play on the second day of BlizzCon. That means that they will have the full-fledged first day to study their opponents, and that's going to be really important. But what they trade for that is the momentum going into the actual event. Gilly, more thoughts on this, please.
Indeed, you're completely right about that, for sure. The fact that they will be able to study not one series, but 2 series from their opponents is very nice for them. But like you mentioned, momentum plays a big part in these series. And we do have a lot of momentum-based teams, like Cloud9 for one.
Absolutely. I've been in this situation myself before, having competed for a few years, and it's definitely something that you can't overlook. The thing is, though, when you find yourself in a winners match, you can't really be thinking about that. You know, you have to win right there and then. So it's always very important to try your best and advance as soon as possible.
Yeah, this is going to be a really important match for both teams. Team DK, they struggled against Tempo Storm, and we saw that on stream earlier today. Na'Vi, they were just so dominating against Braveheart, and I think they're feeling really confident against DK right now. Speaking more about Team DK, this is a team from Korea. They've said before that their strongest competitors are all in Korea. So they're coming to BlizzCon and telling all the other teams to take a chill pill. We're going to win, just have fun. What do you guys have to say to that?
I think Tempo Storm had some fun in almost beating them, yeah.
Yeah, that is true. That is really true. So Team DK, they also had some really good statistics going into this new game against Na'Vi. They are very confident. I actually had the chance to speak to them before this whole series started, and they felt like that Na'Vi is not much of a threat. They feel that the strongest threat really is the Chinese teams, which, you know, today haven't really had the chance to show up yet.
Yeah, and they have a lot of experience versus those Chinese teams too, and especially DK versus like YL, and they've even been able to play versus Braveheart and EDG in the past. But it's interesting to me that they still feel that confident, considering the fact that, you know, Tempo Storm is technically the second place team from the Americas Championship. Na'Vi, not only are they the winners of the European Championship, but they came in without dropping a single game in that championship.
Yeah, they've just looked so convincing every single time we've seen them. That record, I feel, doesn't even do them justice. Yeah, 27-9, because as of late, they really haven't lost any maps. They've just looked so good every single time they've made an appearance. And I got to speak a little bit with JPL a little bit earlier, and he was telling me that in their previous match, they just used something that they had used before in the European regionals, but that they hadn't shown recently in the scrims here since they got there, because a lot of these teams, they've been scrimming against each other. And it seems like Na'Vi, they seem confident enough to just play their usual game that they've been playing before, not necessarily try anything too fancy or unusual, just play what they're good at and make it work.
Well, Na'Vi is really renowned for those pocket strategies moving into this tournament. And also, the score that you guys saw there, that is the total score of the games that they have won and lost for this entire road to BlizzCon. So that is some impressive scoring from the EU Championship. Na'Vi, they're ready to go into this next game. By the way, guys, the draft is ready, and we're now going into game number 1 between Team DK and Na'Vi. It's finally going to start here. The last series we're going to see for today, Dragon Shire. This is a really tricky battleground. I mean, DK, they just have so much advantage and win stats on this particular battleground.
Yeah, it's a battleground that is very dependent on rotations, especially a lot of the times between mid and bottom as you're working between the two, trying to push lanes up as much as possible, but also look for picks at the same time. If you can get ammo drained on the towers, then you're looking at the potential to more easily pick up the shrines and even look at a Dragon Knight.
Yeah, we've seen quite a few Sonya being picked today, and they did pretty well for the most part. Didn't win every single game, but they were really in there, doing a lot of damage, screaming, and getting the job done. So Tyrande here gets banned from Team DK. I think they know that Na'Vi is one of the teams out there that have some of the very best Tyrande play, which, to be honest, so far in this tournament here at the World Championship, she's been so popular, and she's done pretty well here at Tyrande.
Yeah, well, DK, we've spoken to them before as well. They think that Tyrande wasn't really so good before the rework to Shadow Stalk, but right now, she is really, really tier 1, and this is consistent with all of NA. Banning out Sonya is also because the Koreans are really renowned to run this bruiser. Uther as the first pick is really, really good for Na'Vi. I'm really hoping that this opens up melee assassins because that's exactly right up Na'Vi's alley. For Team DK, what I want to see would be a Jaina, and that's going to be really awesome.
And we could see a Jaina and a Tassadar if they wanted to pick up the Tassadar too. He's been a stronger pick for sure and would open up also the potential for a lot of damage too. But looking at the melee assassin and that potential, they were going to grab Jaina, but then Muradin too, and that should help deny or at least maybe dissuade Na'Vi from being able to or want to pick that up, knowing that they have Muradin. We've talked about Reverberation before.
So far nothing too crazy, just very solid picks here out of both teams. Uther, one of his favorite tricks here on this map is to use Divine Shield on somebody that's trying to capture the Dragon Knight in the middle of the map, in which case you can't stop that person from channeling and getting the Dragon Knight. That is if the shrines are not being contested at this time.
Now Na'Vi are going to pick up Kael'thas and Johanna for their final picks before we head into the second stage of the bans. Kael'thas has been seeing a lot of play from the European teams, and it really seems to be working out for them. Although, yes, we had Dignitas drop in the last match, it was still very, very close.
Yeah, and it's a bit of a trade-up between EU and NA. It used to be North America that runs a lot of Kael'thas, but right now, the European teams, they just really like this lockdown between Kael'thas, Johanna, and Uther. I'm a little bit worried when it comes to Dragonshire because Kael'thas is not really so good in the early phases. It's really going to be up to rotation, and that will be kind of tricky to see how Na'Vi is going to pull this up. We're also going to see Kerrigan and Tassadar banned out. Todd, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think Kerrigan ban here when the opponents already have something like Uther. You know how dangerous it can be. Rotations, especially around the top lane, they're going to be very hard to spot. It's going to be very hard to properly defend. If at any time you're fighting for those shrines, and then Kerrigan comes in, you're going to start dying, you're going to lose the Dragon Knight, and then the opponents, they just snowball out of control. The Tassadar here is pretty interesting. Doesn't feel like it was one of the must bans personally, but we've seen him today with the Force Wall pull quite a few good moves, and since they were going for a Uther Johanna composition themselves, maybe Na'Vi were afraid of that Force Wall really coming into play and punishing them.
Oh, SCSC has got his favorite. Arthas will be here, Sylvanas too. So now they've got fantastic ability to push lanes, but they also have a really, really strong front line to help protect that Sylvanas and the Jaina. And man, both these teams have great Arthas players, so I'm really looking forward to this right now. SCSC is just fantastic on him.
I think his score on Arthas right now is 9-1, and that is inclusive of all the games they've played this hero in the Korean Super League, which is their Road to BlizzCon qualifier. We also can see Lyric getting picked up by Na'Vi, so they have both wave clear tanks. And that is interesting. Wow, that is really going to be a good finisher pick here. Esmodan, you're right, Todd. That's going to be double range damage dealers. The boom babies is going to be so real. We're going to fry them really, really good.
If they were to go for it, yeah.
Is it a battleground? We've only seen it on the Tomb for sure, but we might see it here.
No.
But instead it will be Tyrael, and that is a triple warrior. Kael'thas, Uther. That is insane. I am so pumped.
That's so cool to see this because Alex the Prodigy, in my opinion, is one of the best JRL out there. I got to play and see him, in action a little bit in Hero League, and he practices only warriors. And usually when he picks JRL, it's only for one thing. That's the sanctification. So I'm pretty sure that this is what we're going to see here. And already having an Uther, that definitely will make things even more interesting here in terms of survivability and sustain.
My only concern with Na'Vi's current composition is that they don't really have a bruiser per se. They don't have enough damage in the front line. Yes, Tyrael can body block someone really, really well with the Eldrune Smite, Lyric as well, and Johanna. They all have some good mobility, but in general, it is going to be quite tricky to have that early game damage. Na'Vi, I don't think this is going to be something that they're comfortable with, especially in the early game. But what they do have is that extra meat shield in front. For DK, though, they will finish up the draft with Malfurion, and instead of Karazim, Malfurion just provides a lot more safe plays with the Ice Block probably picked up, and that's going to be pretty interesting to see.
Yeah, they also have a lot of combos when it comes to their crowd control. They have Muradin as well as Arthas and Malfurion, so they're going to be able to combo those very nicely. If they can get one stun, then they have a lot of things to follow up on that. Even slows from Jaina while they're trying to take someone out.
Indeed. No, I don't know about you guys, but after North America just showed that they were better than Europe on this day. I can't wait to see if Korea is the third best region of the day or not.
Oh. Wow, this is some real shots fired by Todd. All right, so predictions-wise, I guess we don't have to ask Todd anymore. He is going to be on Navi's side. Gilly, in terms of composition, which team do you think has the advantage?
I really enjoy Team DK's composition. I think it's going to be really great for the rotations that will come in on Dragonshire. So I'm pretty excited to see how it works.
Well, personally, I think DK's draft is a lot better because they have some consistent damage. I have nothing against you, Todd. Really love whatever you represent. All right, so we do have an ongoing conversation on Twitter, so do join us and tweet us at Esports Heroes using the hashtag HeroesWC to join in on the conversation. Game 1 will begin shortly, and I do believe this is going to be interesting. Dragonshire is the battleground. We have Team DK versus Navi. Thank you, Todd. We're going to see you at the end of this game. And on the blue team, we have from Korea, the land of esports, Team DK. Crazy moving as your Jaina. Malfurion being played by Jae Hyun. Nobilis onto that Muradin as well as SC on his favorite Arthas. Sniper as that specialist, Sylvanas. And also on the red team, we have Navi from Europe, the best team there is over on that side of this world. Alex the Prodigy will be playing as Leoric, Eternal onto that Tyrael. JPL as the DPS Kel'Thas, and we also got Shrimpy onto that Johanna. Last but not least, we got Splendor playing support as Uther.
And as the gates open and teams start to move down, we can take a look at some of the talents. But we may have a brawl in the mid. We'll see what Navi decide to do. For now, actually, they are blocking the minions. They're trying to keep them from going further out into the lane. So hopefully that first fight for minions will be a little bit closer to Navi's side. Make it a little bit safer since they know the chain stun is real. The potential for it from DK.
Yeah, they do have more warriors, which means they can really go in and bully the position of DK, which is what's happening right now. And Muradin gets bodied immediately. What a great play there by Navi. This is why pre-4 warriors are so important. If you don't have the numbers, you don't want to take the fight. You generally want to pull back and spread yourself out across all lanes. Of course, they do have the stuns, but that may not be enough in this kind of bully situation.
Yeah, such an early takedown. And we might mention, too, this bully system that you talk about. The Triple Warrior was actually first started in the region from DK, right? Like, it started in the Korean area.
Yeah, it's going to be such a huge slap across the Koreans' faces if they do win this game here with their own created composition. 3 warriors, but the key difference here is that they don't really have enough damage in the front line. Lyric doesn't do much. Maybe much of the Black King is going to be some form of AoE damage. It is still not going to be really impressive by himself. We have Tyrael probably going for lockdown on Judgment. Sanctification is going to be really, really good. And I know that Europeans really love that, but they already have the Divine Shield to work with.
Looking at some of the talents, we do have a very interesting pickup for Jaina. She went for Lingering Chill. It's almost always Deep Chill, which increases the slow amount from 25 to 35%. But this time, the chill will last from 4 to 6 seconds, which means the slow won't be as much, but it will last for longer. And it also enables her to be able to deal more damage after that, capitalize more on it with her abilities.
It kind of is a preference thing. Both sides works pretty well. Either you want to slow a little bit more or you want to slow a little bit longer. It is, at the end of the day, how the rest of the team reacts. I think the main reason here is you want to slow longer so that Arthas can catch up even better. He's going to be in front and hold that up. Muradin, Nobilis with a nice jump back out. I don't think the living bomb's going to be enough, and it seems like he's going to be okay.
Barely on fire, but still alive as the level 4 talents coming in for both teams. And once again, Returnal Retaliation. Jaina was in range of that Gravity Lapse. Will Noblesse go down? No, has another Gravity Lapse, buying time so that Jaina can get away.
I really like how Nobilis played right there. He was just creating space for Jaina to pull back. And Navi, they're just really on fire right now. Pre-4, they definitely have the advantage. Now it's level 4, and we got some talents, Gilly.
We do. We talked about Eternal Retaliation for Johanna, so she's going to be able to have the Condemn up more often. And man, JPL has been so on point with these Gravity Lapses. DK has to be careful from that because they can really just jump on board with that, with the Johanna and the Condemn.
Yeah, they have so much crowd control that it's really, really scary. Once you get caught by one, it would be a chain. And when that happens, it's not going to be easy to run away. And that's it. I like the way how DK spreads the lane. They're just really rotating around and not staying in one particular location. Dragonshire is kind of like the battleground that allows you to do that because of the way the lanes are so closely placed to each other.
Right, and with our Eternal Retaliation, she'll have Condemn up more often so that they're able to not only deal more damage, but also be able to stun the minions. And that looked scary for Noblast, but once again, Dwarf Toss is saving the day for him.
Yeah, I mean, you may be a warrior, a tank at best at the end of the day, but it doesn't matter to this stun lock composition right here. And we got SC going in. It seems like it's not going to do anything against Alex the Pro G. They're all going to be okay. And in terms of level lead, it's barely negligible right now. Alex in a little bit of trouble there, but it seems like it's not going to be enough. Here comes Tears to save the day. Maybe a reverse turnaround. Alex goes in. We want to see Sniper in a lot of trouble. He is in a lot of trouble. Will go down at the end. The trade for Lyric will happen, so it's 1-for-1 right now. Crazy moving behind coming in, and the Mages as well as the ex-lovers right there. They're just slowing so much on Eternal, but it's not going to result in a kill.
Things to watch out for Navi's composition are a mounted Uther and a mounted Johanna. When either of them come in with their stuns, either Condemn or the Hammer of Justice, it's going to be very scary to try to get away because either of those can be jumped on top of the other one.
And here comes DK, rotating in a little bit. Seems like Shrimpy in a lot of trouble. Blizzard will only connect one wave. There goes the stun. Shrimpy still dropping. Rest of DK not really doing anything enough for that takedown. Sniper gets punished really hard. And SCSA tries to zone up. Here comes Shrimpy again. And JPL just pulling back. Will not be successful. Takes the fall. Muradin now on the retreat. Will also try and pull back down there, but he's gone already. Shrimpy will get the bottom shrine.
All right, both shrines now there, and Alex is ready to pick up the first Dragon Knight of the game. They're saying, you may be Team DK, but we're getting the first DK here in this game, and they're going to want to start putting some pressure on towers, trying to further their experience lead that they already have.
Guess who's the real DK? We have Dragon Knight pushing the top lane, and I do believe level 8 both sides. We definitely have Na'Vi playing that really, really well. They made sure that they capitalize quickly on their mid lane Dragon Knight shrine. They want to make sure they get this, and the objective here really is just to lower the HP of these structures. They have a split push going on, and that's really effective.
Yeah, with that early Dragon Knight, it's so weak. The best you could do is really hope to get a lot of gates down, as well as towers, unless you can really start to take out some members and then go for a fort. But just the amount of towers that they've been able to get is so impressive. Look, they're going to be able to pick up their heroic abilities off of this.
Now, we know Team DK is slightly behind, but they're playing this really, really slow and passively. They cannot out-rotate 3 warriors, and generally, Team DK, they're the team that don't lose the early game, and we don't know what it's going to look like once they don't have the early game lead. Maybe this game we'll find out.
We will see. Another talent that I wanted to point out, yes, the Muradin build. We don't often see this actually. Hold that thought. We could get in a fight. No, DK is going to back off, realizing they're up against a team with heroic abilities. Well, a lot of times we've been seeing that reverberation build so much, but this time we have the perfect storm into a sledgehammer even, as well as piercing bolt. So they have the potential to deal more damage to structures, destroy some ammo as well, but then they're going to be looking to build up the damage on that too.
Yeah, it's going to be really good for pushing strategies, but the problem here is that I really like reverberation because of the fact that they've got 3 melees, maybe even 4 with Uther in front. That's going to really slow them down if they really want to hit you. All of those damage will not go through as much, and that may actually save a teammate. Hold that thought. SCSC a little bit of trouble, but the best afters in the world will actually go down. I'm sorry, not so good there.
Man, March of the Black King. Alex the Pro G says, hey, you took my Arthas, so you're going to pay for it. Now we have heroic abilities from both teams. We have Summon Water Elemental, as well as Tranquility, Army of the Dead, Avatar, and Wailing Arrow being picked up for Na'Vi.
Very, very standard heroics. I'd like to point out at this stage that I still don't get my Fiery Meatball, but we have the Phoenix going on really well. Sanctification and Divine Shield really stacks up a lot in the European scene because they really want to stay safe. They want to make sure that they have the capacity to overextend, to body bully the enemy team.
I want to point out, look how far back we have Na'Vi playing right now. They have a Sylvanas. They want to be pushing. They want to be taking out structures. And yet, the rotations from DK have been so on point, being able to pick up their camps and just push certain lanes. They're constantly putting Na'Vi on the defensive, and that is not where you want to play in Heroes of the Storm at all.
Yeah, you want to make sure you play aggressive, and that is exactly what's going to happen here. Team DK making sure that at least the rotations are still somewhat alive. They have not lost a single fort yet, so all top as well as bottom lane will be quite okay. The lanes will get pushed out, they will have some pressure, and hold that thought. 2-man down already on the Korean team, and Jaehyun, the captain, going to sing the song behind. Tranquility is not going to be enough. Navi's Eternal's going to try and do a little bit of a nice flank. The body block's not going to happen, but here comes Noblest, a 2-man stun. Is it going to be now Sanctification? Whole team, let's get on the hype train. They're not going to go in. Dragon Knight still goes to Na'Vi, and Alex will be pushing the mid lane, but they will profit from that maneuver there.
Yeah, they're looking to pick up some of these more towers. be able to further their experience lead too, and that's exactly what they need to be doing here, as they already have such a good lead. They have those level 13 talents too. We can talk about some of those as well. Looks like very, very standard things. The Shrink Ray really came in handy there as well for Uther, being able to use that as a slow, because it's a 50% movement slow. They're able to kind of pick up somebody at those takedowns there too.
It looks really good. And I mean, Navi is also going to get a bottom fort. The Dragon Knight is just really going deep right now. They want to make sure they get his structure. But Alex, he is Lyric at the end of the day. He will be okay, even if he's caught out. As long as he uses the Wraith Walk first, there's not going to be any harm coming to him. Also, there is that Uther behind, and it seems like DK is just not able to react to this kind of composition, and it's pretty tricky and surprising for me.
I really love the Tyrael pickup. I'm guessing that that is imposing will at level 13. And the great thing is any damage will proc that. So if Arthas comes in and has his Frozen Tempest on, that's going to proc that. It's a 50% movement slow as well as attack slow too. So he can kind of stop him from being able to as effectively set up that front line engage, if you will.
Yeah, and meanwhile, Sylvanas as well as Jaina, they just hit level 13. I like to point out, this is an aggressive Jaina, crazy moving with icy veins. That is really gonna hurt.
Yeah,
hit very hard.
Yes, and it's aggressive too, even though they're down, which makes me just say, you know, they're still confident. They have no problem with being down. They've only lost a fort so far, though that's completely fine. They can start getting back out on the battleground and start pushing as much as possible.
One thing I really like about Koreans is that they will go life seed at level 13 and not go for ice block, and that is somewhat perplexing because Malfurion is a primary target for Na'Vi, and they've got so much jump potential. We'll see. Meanwhile, Shrimpy against that of Crazy Moving. Seems like we're going to see some Blizzard connecting Noblesse in front as well, but Splendour's going to be okay. It is a split fight. SESE with Army of the Dead popped already. Want to make sure he stays alive, and it's a 3-man whirling arrow, and Sanctification too far in front, but where is the rest of the team? The follow-up's not going to be enough for DK. We're also going to see Muradin with a bit of a drop toss back out. Alex the Pro G still zoning them again, and SESE dropping a little bit of HP, but it seems like Lyric's almost done. We got Alex still alive somehow, and how is nobody dead from that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Tranquility has been so effective there, but they really need to get out of here because 16 has been hit by Na'Vi, so they definitely need to get out of there fast. They have a lot more utility there. They've got a ton more damage as well.
And Alex flanking, Sniper in a lot of trouble, does not have the Haunting Wave, but the rest of the team just too far back. JPL, once the Gravity Lapse, will not get it. A nice Entangler is going to stop him. Sniper with the Haunting Wave will get away.
All right, so while we have a breather, and while we start to pick up some of those shrines, let's look at some of the things that we have picked up for talents. I really love, once again, we see Burning Rage into that Blessed Hammer for Johanna. So a lot of damage even from her too, and they need it, right? We talked about it before. They're a triple warrior. They need as much damage as they can possibly get.
Yeah, renewed swing as well.
Yeah.
For Lyric, he's going to be swinging really, really happily at the end of this whole fight. I mean, 16 against 14, that is a level lead. Team DK, they're playing from behind. They want to make sure they soak some EXP. They want to get level 16 first before the next fight. But Na'Vi, they're just really rotating so well right now that they don't really have a choice. And this Dragon Knight Shrine, this is going to be a point where DK needs to take a fight. Noblesse is down south. He's going to get the Moon Shrine, and that means he's going to be okay, and they don't really have to take a fight now.
Yeah, that was a really great rotation by them because fighting there would not be preferable with 16 not have being picked up, but it's only so long that you can do this, right? Na'Vi are going to be able to eventually catch DK in one of these rotations, or they're going to find themselves with the Dragon Knight, so DK really need to hurry and pick it up fast.
Yeah, we have again another fight, and the Holy Ground JPL summons the Dragon Knight, and top lane, the fight's still going to happen there. We see Sanctification, but the whole team pulls right back, and that will be 65 seconds without Sanctification.
Well, Furion actually picked up Life Seed at 13 too, so that is going to be more heals there, but it does sacrifice the Ice Block. So again, more confident play in my opinion that we're seeing come out of DK despite the fact that they've been down.
Yeah, I mean, Jaehyun, he's not been caught out of position even once so far in this entire game. And Sniper, bottom lane, gotta be a little bit more careful. Sniper is the resident specialist player, and his avatar is really, really good. But we're seeing him play Sylvanas here. This is a battleground that they are renowned to play at, and they're now 2 levels down. What is going to be their strategy? All
right, well, first of all, they've got to get rid of this Dragon Knight who is working on the final fort for DK now, and here we go, right into an engagement.
And we see the Willing Arrow connecting on the backline. SCSC just buying a lot of time. There goes the Tranquility, and also the Match with Black King. SCSC still holding up pretty well. Nobilis a little bit too far in front, but we're gonna see the Lich King goes down, and Eternal still giving a lot of chase there. Needs to pull back. The support will not be able to give him those heals if he has to fight a two-pronged fight here. Shrimpy holding up against Nobilis, and Gravity Lab's not really connecting. Could have been a little bit better, but a two-man stun, and that's gonna be really, really bad for Na'Vi. Another Sanctification, but the HP already so low, and Alex has to pull back. He does not have much of the Black King, and that means that it is gonna be a lot of trouble. The second Blizzard connects, and it seems like Lyric is out for the count.
Crazy moving with the plays right there. That Blizzard was so fantastic. Being able to hit him with the second crash of that Blizzard was enough to take it down. Now looking at what we have for our talents at 16, we have Northern Exposure as well as Cold Embrace. So we have Sylvanas and Jaina with the ability to make heroes vulnerable, take 25% more damage, and that could be what they need to start turning these fights around.
Yeah, they're really gonna hit very hard. I mean, in this whole game, it will be very tricky for Na'Vi to get those positioning off right now, because the damage they have just come into this game for Team DK. Also, the rotation seems to be pretty okay. I mean, if you ask me, only losing 2 for the entire early game domination that Na'Vi had, 8 kills against 4, it looks to be pretty even.
Yeah, exactly. They're starting to really come back into this for sure, and they've been able to really keep some pressure out on the Battleground too, which is nice. They haven't been able to lose too much there. Like you mentioned, just a couple of forts, and that's no big deal. Generally, when you're going up against an early game composition, as long as you don't lose a keep, you still feel very fine even as you move into the late game.
Yeah, you don't really have to take team fights, and even if you have to, you make sure that even if you lose those team fights, you don't have your core in danger. Now here we have almost level 20 for Na'Vi. That is going to be the next window that's going to open for them. If they can capitalize and take down a keep, this will really swing heavily in favor of the Europeans.
But you know, this is the second time, like we mentioned, where we've seen DK down a talent here as we move right into the Dragon Knight phase. And that's been difficult for them because they don't want to engage into level 20, but they also cannot keep giving up these Dragon Knights because they get stronger and stronger as the game progresses.
It is going to be such a perplexing position, Shrimpy against Nobilis, and here comes JPL. He tilts the fight in a separate favor, and Na'Vi's Eternal is going to be in front. Nobilis now dropping a lot of HP, and Murding goes down. We still have a level 20 here for Na'Vi. This is exactly where they get a Dragon Knight. There's nothing DK can do.
Yeah, they really just can't afford to lose more members on top of trying to defend. So that fort will definitely be forfeit, but I love the split push here from Na'Vi, realizing that it's still 38 seconds until Muradin is back. They have the Phoenix to be able to help zone and put damage on this keep, and yeah, they're actually even going to bring the Dragon Knight here, not even going for the split push. They want to ensure that they pick up the keep, and their positioning, they look pretty confident here, Babel.
Yeah, they're really going in for the core. This may just be game. They are still with the stump talent. DK cannot fight it yet. There goes the Divine Shield Sanctification. We're just going to be knocking all night long, and here comes the heal. Will not be enough for any takedown yet on the set of DK. Splendor dropping, but the core is going to drop even faster, and game 1 goes to Na'Vi! What a game. So fast, way faster than expected. 16 minutes and 40 seconds of a game of this level. It is really mind-blowing for me. I mean, you're looking at Na'Vi playing so well that I don't think DK is prepared for this.
No, I completely agree with you, Babel. They were completely taken by surprise there in that game. Na'Vi played phenomenally there with picking up so many Dragon Knights, constantly making sure that they were ahead in terms of talent tiers, knowing when to engage and when to pull back. Man, they've got it made.
A lot of brawls and a lot of cool moments here in this game, and this was a pleasure to watch, in particular for me, especially after how I built up that series here. So there is 2 moments in particular I want to take a look at. So let's jump into our Windows 10 game DVR replay here. I'm going to pose it in this situation here immediately. This is a moment where I thought this was so interesting because DK, they pulled off their trademark move. They get engaged into, so they pull back, and then they re-engage. Even though they already had lost, here it was the Arthas that is up there, you can see. They're just gonna turn back around and re-engage pretty shortly here behind this. So you can see Noblesse here, he's setting himself up down there, and he's gonna jump on top of that wall here and try and re-engage to try and get a fight win here, ideally. So here's the jump. JPL was isolated, he gets sniped pretty much immediately, and now they're trying to decide who they go for exactly. And Navi, they were hesitating a little bit. Leoric was a little bit far off position, so DK, they turn around and they get a good snipe on him. So this wasn't a decisive move or anything, but definitely a nice way to come back into the game. But now, later down the line, Navi, they've already got themselves level 20 against level 18 from Team DK. You pointed out very nicely, our commentators here, that Team DK was trying to stop the bleeding here. They didn't want Navi to get one more Dragon Knight. So Noblesse is down there, all isolated by himself, away from the rest of his team. And he's just gonna try to make it out of there, and in the end he gets completely caught all alone, gets sniped, and behind this it's a Dragon Knight into a game victory here for Navi, just because that timer here was way too long for them to have a chance. So just a fantastic game here out of Navi, who just looks so convincing right now. They just look unstoppable.
Yeah, they looked unstoppable in the European Championship, and our confident team from Korea, I'm wondering what's going through their minds right now, because they've lost a game to Tempo Storm, but that was, the second game. It wasn't such a big deal, but this one now, they find themselves down 0-1. Potentially, it could all be over in the next game for them.
Yeah, we've just seen Noblesse in the last play there, a little bit lonely, and Atlas is just not on the same page. It seems like the whole team is just not working together in that game, and they're just playing from behind against a meta that they developed themselves. So this is going to be pretty refreshing to see. Now, for all of you guys who have heard what DK said, they basically said they're here to win this championship. Rest of the team can take the back seat, have fun, and I think it's really just time now to listen to what Navi has to say instead of listening to the Koreans all day long.
To be honest, we are like kind of family. We do all these decisions together.
We are like really big friends. We have chemistry in the team.
We always talk to each other, even if we are not playing. It's like a job, but with friends and even a family.
We're really proud to be here as the European champions. That's really big by itself. So we're really happy that we have the opportunity to represent Europe.
It's something that every player strives for.
Even if we are not winning it, just qualified for it, it was really big. Winning BlizzCon is like reaching a dream.
We had a bit of roster changes in the past, but I guess that we kind of have chemistry now. We found like players which fit us really good, because I think that we play a bit different from what the meta is and what the meta is considered to be. I want us to be known for our diverse play style.
After the tournament, we will probably eat Taco Bell.
We will go to Disneyland and have some fun.
I think we will just party.
It is said that I hunt alone, wandering these bitter lands, far from civilization. But in truth, I hunt with family. One that I hold close. I protect them, and they protect me. I am Rexar, champion of the Horde, and I never hunt alone.
Well, Navi surely did not hunt alone in that game there, moving together as packs of 5, as true friends and family will do. That said, this is Babel. I nearly said this is Gilly. That will be really scary. This is Babel, with me is Gilly and Todd, and I hope you guys enjoyed the coverage we've provided the whole day long, and we have with us game number 2. So far so good, Todd. The EU scene seems to be holding up pretty well.
Yeah, not too bad. I like how you pick up on everything here from these traders, and then you make these crazy puns here. Just when I thought I'm the specialist of bad puns, I met you.
Well, they say that, when a mountain meets something even higher, that's where you have to bow down and respect the mountain. Well, we still have a lot of good games along the way, so you have your chance to show your puns, Todd. Don't feel bad about that. And we do have with us the draw for game number 2 already. So going into this game 2, it will be pretty exciting as Navi wants to close this out, and we got DK struggling to catch up from behind. The battleground will be Garden of Terror. Wow.
Can you believe it? DK, everyone's favorite, I think. A lot of people's favorite, at least. Down 0-1 in this, we really thought they'd be the ones to make it out of this and have a full day off at BlizzCon.
They looked absolutely stunned, so actually, after this game here.
Did they?
I don't think they're in disbelief. I don't think they expected it to go this way here. I mean, the game wasn't even that long.
No, it was very short. We'll see if this one goes a bit longer. We are on Garden of Terror, and Na'Vi with a ban on the Lost Vikings. Seems like they know their opponents pretty well here, as I believe it's Sniper, who is the big Vikings player.
Yeah, I mean, they've got so many flex players as well that just can do a lot. The thing is, they were outmatched in the previous game. Regardless of how the draft ends here, they're going to have to step it up here. And I think Uther here is our first pick.
Yeah,
Na'Vi after Tyrande was banned.
Yeah, Uther is a really good first pick for Na'Vi. They really like Uther a lot. Also like to point out that Team DK, they picked up this map. They did lose the first game. They had that option. They decided for map pick. This means that they open up slots for 2 picks now in the first picking phase. That means they can also get Jaina, they can get Muradin, they can get all of this good value tier 1s. And there we have Jaina. DK just really want to get this hero.
Is this the first time we're seeing Garden of Terror? I think so, right?
Yeah, first time this day, I guess, of play. We'll see if they add Muradin to that Jaina like they did last time, but except for the bans, very similar picks coming out from both of these teams, and there is the Muradin. So now looking at what we want for Garden of Terror, you really want to prioritize heroes who can help you clear up those seed camps as fast as possible, whether it's heroes who are very, very good and can potentially even solo the big boss plants, like something like an Illidan plus an Abathur, or heroes who can deal area damage really fast, or Diablo. Diablo would be good too.
Yeah, and it seems like the draft is mirroring what's happening in the first game. We had the exact same picks, all 4 of them. It is Uther, Jaina, Muradin, Kel'Thas in the same exact order as well.
Who was next?
Johanna, but I don't think it's going to be picked. But okay, I'm sorry. This is just going to look like the first game.
Yeah, so far, up until the second banning phase here comes into play. So just, it looks like both teams, they just want to play it solid here, at least up to this point in terms of drafting. And Sonya gets banned here from Team DK. They want to make sure they don't have to face that with an Uther as well, being able to support that. I mean, if you look at all the heroes that were picked here, these are absolute tier 1. And now is the time you're going to start seeing, I guess, all the heroes that usually are not first 5 pick material as much as the ones that we had picked there.
Well, the key difference here really is that Sonya was first banned by Na'Vi in the first game. But here it's getting banned by Team DK, and I think Na'Vi is really comfortable. I mean, out of all the teams we saw today, Na'Vi seems to be the one with the most composure, really, really confident, going in, not even saying anything. And it's really weird because the past few days we've had the chance to talk to them. They were saying we played so bad. We were training, but we were just not performing enough. But right now, they showed up really, really well. Even Cloud9, they were struggling a little bit against Team Dignitas. But Na'Vi against Team DK, this is supposed to be such a close match, but it's not.
Yeah, that game 1 was not. I thought maybe we'd see an Abathur ban going along with the Lost Vikings from Na'Vi, but it looks like we're going to have the Illidan ban. But DK picking up Tyrael. We talked about SCSC's Arthas, but his Tyrael is pretty amazing too. Plus, it's just Tyrael, man. He's awesome.
Yeah, we've really seen actually sanctification come to popularity so much, and that it feels like almost every single time we see Tyrael come out nowadays, that's for this heroic in particular. And Sylvanas gets picked up as well. Also become one of the very popular picks that you can go for, especially when you're facing something like a Uther for the winning arrow and trying to time these snipes that you can go for in these fights.
Yeah, Team DK really is just going for double warrior meta right now, which is one of the more consistent compositions. Picking Tyrael is more like a steal away from Na'Vi, making sure that they don't have the exact same draft as the very first game. But here Na'Vi has got a lot of options, and we're gonna say Diablo! Oh, Lightning Breath, please. This is gonna be so good. Diablo's gonna come in, and he does have Shadow Charge, Overpower. The rotation's gonna be really important in Garden of Terror, where you have 2 different objectives spawning. Firestorm's gonna do a lot of damage. Apocalypse with Lightning Breath, that provides either more lockdown or more damage. And not to mention Black Soulstone, that is the cheating machine we just saw Na'Vi pull off. Because this guy, I thought he just died there, but he came back immediately.
Yeah.
That was scary.
That's what he does. It's like a magic trick. But JPL did so well earlier on the Diablo, and he was just getting right in there.
Wow.
Falstad gets picked up as a 5th.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. This is really mind-blowing right now. I mean, Feldstad with more mobility on Guardian of Terror, which is kind of like a mid-sized map, not really very big, but still you want to have the increased mobility, and that is the tailwind. You also have got like Hammerang, Lightning Rod, Barrel Roll, all three very effective primary abilities. In terms of heroic, we know that Na'Vi is a team that runs Mighty Gust, and that really dispositions Team DK a lot. We'll see if the Koreans are ready for this meta.
Yeah, it's possible that what they could do is try to grab somebody with that Diablo and Johanna, and then Falstad can Mighty Gust everyone else away. So it's similar to the Lamb to the Slaughter, but it also will just be nice for them to be able to have that disengage element if they get into a tricky situation when it comes to team fights. Always choosing a team fight that looks advantageous for them, and otherwise just completely resetting it with that Mighty Gust.
And now Team DK, they needed a support, they needed a healer. They're going to go for the Malfurion here. And it seems like they quite like their Malfurion with Jaehyun. Their, I guess, shot caller, really liking this one. And usually doing pretty well with it, but not quite so much in the previous game. Well, I wonder who both teams put in the big green plants in the Terror here. In terms of picking the right one. I guess maybe TRL or Muradin. Usually you see the warrior or melee assassins being the ones to take up that job.
Yeah, it is after all a tanky kind of a role, and we're going into this game with almost identical draft on Team DK. Maybe the strategy for the first game didn't really happen here, and this time around it will be a chance at redemption. Na'Vi, they switched up to 2 warriors and with really strong backlines. I'm looking at Kel'Thas and Felstad, and there's no way going past Johanna or Diablo. This is going to be really exciting to see. That said, I do believe that game number 2 is almost ready, and once I have information on that, we're going to go into this game. All right, we just got confirmation. This is really the fastest production ever, and we have Team DK versus Na'Vi. Ladies and gentlemen, Garden of Terror will be the battleground, and going in on the blue team, we got Team DK from Korea. Crazy moving under Jaina Jaehyun onto that Malfurion Nobilis as the Muradin, SCSC playing as his Tyrael, and Sniper onto that Sylvanas.
And their opponents, who if they can win this game, guarantee that they've made it to the semifinals of BlizzCon. We have Na'Vi with Alex the Pro G playing Johanna, Ethernal on Kel'Thas, JPL once again playing Diablo, Shrimpy playing Falstad as well, and Splendor rounding out the composition with Uther.
It is going to be really interesting to see, because this is the first time we're going to see Garden of Terror. And it is something that I think would be a little bit different from all of the other battlegrounds we've seen so far. It's kind of like the battleground that's not really played over the course of the World Championship, but I'm really keen to see why DK picked up this battleground. And again, you can see the consistent 5-man body blocking on the creep wave. They're just so well versed in this right now. The amount of lead is not that much, maybe just a 5% difference, but it does have a lot of good psychological effect in that you can play slightly safer, you're closer to the gate, and those are stuff that really matters at a game of this level.
Yeah, and speaking of playing slightly safer, they already had Uther in the bottom lane as well as Falstad in top, so they weren't really looking at looking for a big fight in mid like sometimes we see. They really just wanted to get that lane cleared as much as possible, then they'll start to rotate around with the gank squad, but they wanted to make sure they weren't missing out on any soak in the lanes as well.
Yeah, so far the lane split looks to be pretty okay. We're going to see some really good early game rotations from JPL. Again, Nobilis now, a little bit of trouble there, maybe overpower, and a Shadow Charge. He still has the Dwarf Toss. I don't think it's going to be a takedown. We're going to see a bit of a stun coming out from Nobilis as well as a follow-up from Jaehyun, but there will not be enough for a kill.
But we see what Na'Vi will be going for, right? We saw Johanna be able to come in, and then from there, Diablo was able to pull them back even further, and then a Gravity Lapse to follow up from that. That's going to be a lot scarier as they start being able to deal more and more damage.
Yeah, and also you get out of position so easily when you're up against this kind of composition. Hold that thought. Crazy moving, a little bit of a damage on him. Nobilis still holding up the front, but it seems like Eternal is going to take the focus. Kel'Thas is gone, and here comes a flying Birdman. And we got JPL also running to the other side of the battleground. Needs to make sure that's not the base, and that's 2 men down on the side of Na'Vi. Already the third one getting rooted, and that's Uther. Splendor definitely in a lot of trouble. Uther will go down. 3 men for nothing exchange. Na'Vi don't have the aggression as in the first game.
So teams look at the halfway point of the battleground and whether or not to extend over to it, because when you go on your opponent's side, well, I thought we might have Nobilis getting taken down. They may be pushing this back onto Alex the Pro G. Yes, they are going to go in with the Envenom on top of it and get another takedown on Johanna. But like I was mentioning before, yeah, they look at the halfway point. Sylvanas goes down though too.
Yeah, it's like overextending really for a kill, but they do get Diablo as well, so that's really valuable. That goes locked on Malfurion, and it seems like he gets blown to the moon and he kisses the floor face first.
So both teams doing what I was explaining, but crossing the halfway point moves you closer to the enemy team's base. They have faster rotations from there too, and they're able to disengage, get back to their structures, whereas you can't do that as easily if you start to run away. So it can be very scary to do in the early game with early respawn timers.
And here we have Nobilis taking a little bit too much damage. And this is something you don't really see of Team DK. Their rotations are getting a little bit better as compared to the first game, but exactly where the difference lies is that it's kind of like Navi's mistake that they overextended, and both teams are making the same mistake overextending. 4 kills, which is not really going to benefit a lot in the early phases. You really want to go and soak those lanes. You see some good rotation from Navi, but the top lane is not really getting all the attention it should be getting.
Right, and it really comes down to just the fact that these teams could be very, very tired. It's pretty late, especially for both of them. They're from different regions too. Jet lag could be a factor, so pretty tired, but definitely still showing us some awesome games here, and potentially our last one of the day.
Yeah, I know that feeling. I'm from a different region. Oh, hold that thought. Nobilis jumping in already, and there goes the Blizzard. For wave 1, wave 2 will connect. Eternal taking way too much damage. Killstars goes down to the Ice Mage. It seems like Ice is going to have a little bit of a nice fever over Fire today.
We'll see if that continues on as these teams continue to pick up levels. But yeah, looking at the 6 takedowns of DK versus 2 that Na'Vi have, they're starting to pull ahead in the experience, knowing that they are about to pick up their level 7 as well. They're starting to pick up some seeds, but we also see Na'Vi doing the exact same thing up top. Will it be enough for DK to pick up? It looks like no. Very, very close. Just 4 short of being able to get that Garden Terror.
Yeah, they were really aggressive for this reason. You want to get a little bit more than 40 from the small stacks just to make sure that you will have enough for Garden Terror. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. They still have the level lead for Team DK. And Na'Vi playing from behind, they have Killstars. And that's going to be pretty effective against the likes of Tyrael and Muradin.
Right, once you have Chain Bomb, that's really nice to have, versus the more melee, the better with that, because of the fact that it's harder to dodge those Chain Bombs, and you can often end up taking a lot more damage from the pit.
Yeah, and this time around we see a different build from Muradin. Nobilis going for the standard Thunderclap build with Thunderburn as well as Reverberation. You see Piercing Bolt and hold that thought again. We're going to see the Birdman and Fried Chicken Wing served up really hard.
Man, so many takedowns in this game so far, just brawling back and forth. But yeah, Falstad is down, and that's no soak up top. We see Diablo and Kael'thas starting to move up there now. And a lot of damage was put onto those towers because they do have the Sylvanas. That's the great power of having a Sylvanas. If you ever find yourself in being ahead in terms of a team fight like that, you can quickly capitalize and take out some of these structures and get even more experience.
What's different in this battleground is the fact that Team DK is really capitalizing on those mercenary camps very, very well as compared to the first game. They are also rotating a lot better, and the rotations are very clear. And they also know that the difference in this particular game is that Na'Vi don't have 3 warriors. They cannot body bully into Team DK's composition. They're going to make sure that the backline stays safe. And with that Feldstat, yes, he does some damage, but you really want to get a level 10 heroic first before you set up the fight and stage.
Even leaving Sylvanas up top, Tyrael bottom, they knew that the minions were not clashing in the mid, so they had time to go down and pick up the bruisers to deal more damage there, and then push with that once again. Constantly pushing with their mercenaries, trying to eke out little bits more of being ahead in terms of experience.
And we have a bit of a trade going on here. It seems like DK is knocking on the bottom structures already. Towers going down. And top lane, we have Na'Vi knocking on the gate as well. The trade may be kind of successful, but we do have that Johanna rotating down to the bottom lane. I don't think she's really going to do anything. And Na'Vi has the better sense here because they are just waiting for their level 10.
Yeah, we have the fort definitely going to get picked up there on bottom as SCSC delivers the final blow on the fort. Up top, not sure if they'll be able to get the fort. They should be able to, though, and being able to trade that out will be very, very good for them as they're trying to keep it as even as possible with the structures.
Oh yeah, it is going to be the Lightning Breath as well as the Mighty Gust. The only issue I have is that Johanna will be the only hero with a lockdown capability. You're looking at Blessed Shield setting up the stage, but there will not be enough for a follow-up. You will rely on basic abilities like a Gravity Lapse, and that could be pretty tricky to pull off for a full-fledged Lightning Breath connection there with Diablo.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to be able to run away, but there are a lot of corridors on Garden of Terror, so if they can set up correctly, then even when you're running away from it, you'll still be taking a lot of damage, and from there, they should be able to condemn back in to the Lightning Breath, hoping to be able to get some takedowns in that way.
Yeah, I really want to see how this is going to pan out, but hold that thought. Alex the Progi pulling back. Great game sense right there, and we do have the first Terror almost spawning in just 10 seconds for Team DK. But do you know what, Gilly? My favorite dream composition will be Diablo and Dead Entomb, because there is no way you can walk out of that, and that is basically a barbecue pit we're going to see.
That is a barbecue pit. You are completely right, and that is terrifying. Now I'm really hoping that don't tell Navi about that, okay? That sounds
Yeah, that is the dream come true for me. I've saw this before. It kind of worked in a region that thought we recognized not be so good, but it's a fun region. That's all I'm gonna say. Here we have a bit of a nice trade again, and we have the Garden Terror spawning already for Team DK. For Navi, it's still 50 seconds where they have to get it out, and we have SESC going in with a bit of a nice surprise factor.
Yeah, I really liked the ability for Navi to kind of make sure that they picked up enough seeds so that DK didn't get 2 Garden Terrors in a row, because that is really the dream for a team. You get to push with one, and then you're constantly pushing with the second one, basically up until the next seed phase, so you never really get a break to kind of push your own lanes back. You're just having to sit on the defensive, and that's not where they want to be, especially because they find themselves once again down a talent level.
I like this a lot. I mean, Team DK is up 1 talent level. They're pushing the top lane, and you see Kel'Thas soaking the mid, and you have also got JPL, the Diablo, into this Garden Terror pushing the bottom lane. So it's a bit of a nice trade. They know, as in for Navi, it's great game sense that they're not going to clash there at the top lane, but they want to soak the lanes, they want to trade a little bit, and they know that Diablo can take a bit of a hit in the Garden Terror, so they are just going to nicely rotate and wait for the level 13.
Now, speaking of level 13s, we do have them picked up on the side of DK, and we do this time have Ice Block picked up for Malfurion, as well as Jaina. So not quite maybe as confident in their gameplay after losing that last game, or at least wanting to play a little bit more safer, realizing that especially the potential with Diablo and Kel'Thas and Johanna and Uther, there's a lot of lockdown potential there, and to find themselves out of position for sure.
Yeah, and also it's kind of weird to see 2 vegetables slapping each other just now. It's kind of cute. That's the closest thing you will ever find to Fruit Ninja. But we're going to see the mid lane getting pushed out. Great positioning on that nice plant there. JPL losing a lot of HP. We see a bit of Moonfire coming as well. Noblins with the flank, and that means Uther is locked down by the Mighty Gas. Forced to disengage, and that means you still see the Ring of Frost in the lockdown. Divine Chill going to be on Uther. JPL pulling back, but Eternal gets blown apart, and we still see SESC giving the chase. Splendor will take the fall. JPL, he is not a lot of terror right now. He is just not scary enough. Shrimpy and Alex, they're just pulling back, and Team DK, they have this fort nicely backed up.
That Ring of Frost was the MVP. So I guess we could say that Jaina was the MVP. They're crazy moving, doing such a great job, because even though the Mighty Gust went out, so many people got rooted by that they were able to, even with the slow, get back into position and be able to get all the takedowns off of that. Such great play from DK there.
That was a crazy move by Crazy Moving.
Yes.
Yeah, Todd will really laugh at me now, but we have a level 16 soon for Team DK. Navi having to play catch up. They are combo for the first time, facing a bit of a difficulty because of the awesome Ring of Frost. It kind of locked the enemy in place, so even if you have to disengage, it is just not going to be enough yet. And it seems like we have a bit of a nice down moment here for both teams to soak up the lane a little bit. Team DK wants the 16. Navi also wants to catch up in terms of level.
We also have Johanna going for a different build than we saw the last time too. We saw the Burning Rage into Blessed Hammer, a lot of damage, but that's because they were a little damage light. They had 3 warriors. This time, she's gone for but beefing up her Iron Skin ability too. So if her Iron Skin, not only does that give it a 20% boost, but also if it gets hit, taken out, then the cooldown on it is reduced. So making sure that she has that up often in fights.
Yeah, it's also good to see that the Koreans are using Sanctification. Team DK, this is also pretty consistent with the Korean scene, where they really just want to use Sanctification to counter a big position maneuver by the enemy team, whether it's Void Prison or it's Devouring Maw. You want to make sure that Sanctification pops before that, even as a counter against ETC's Mosh Pit. And here we have Team DK really going in, making sure they do some damage to the Keepers before Navi gets that 16. And we see JPL with the Shadow Charge against SCSC. It is not going to be enough for an out-of-position maneuver, but it will not mean anything. I think both teams is just really doing a bit of a push. We see a Garden Terror right now for Navi.
Yeah, the rotation from DK there was so incredible, realizing that they know that we're at the bottom seeds, so they're going to go up to the top seeds because they want to make sure they get a Garden Tear. So we're going to push in, get the towers down, move ahead in experience, and be able to open up the possibility of taking down that keep later on, especially once we pick up our Garden Terror.
Oh, Na'Vi gets that level 16. They know what Team DK is up to, and they will try and deny whatever seed count you can get from this big Shambler. And it's a little bit different, but both sides, they have Garden Terror 3+. It's just way too much. I'm confused right now. And we have SESE extending out the front line a little bit. Eldrin's Might in position. He can easily go in if he wants to Noblesse with a nice Queen's Curse onto a polymorph target, and that will be the Eternal. And that means that Alex the Prodigy dropping way too much HP, and it seems like there's not going to be a Lightning Breath coming back out. Noblesse already way out of position, missing the Stun Bolt, and SESE again. And Team DK with a 5-man in position for a nice condemn by Johanna. And you see the Mighty Guns will disengage. Na'Vi, they want to get out right now. Gravity Lab's connecting a little bit, but Alex the Prodigy taking a little bit of too much damage now. Will still be okay. We have to wait for the Stun Bolt to judge really, and it will not connect in time.
All right. Oh, GPL.
Whoa!
Oh, the Blizzard went out and paid for it dearly. The Blizzard takes him out, and this time, no cheating. That's a full respawn timer right there, Babel.
Not enough souls, sir. But we have level 16 against 17, and this is a lot closer. This is the kind of game we want to see coming into this competition, because the last game, it ended under 16 minutes, and that's kind of tricky. Right now, it is kind of even, and we have a second terror for this night going to Team DK. We also have Northern Exposure, by the way, Gilly.
Yeah, Northern Exposure and Cold Embrace once again. And you mentioned that it's even, but it just feels in DK's favor. You know, they've been able to capitalize on picking up more takedowns here. And in fact, Splendor might be the next one in there too. Yes, falling to a Blizzard as well. They've constantly, Navi's been losing their mercenary camps to DK. They've been on the back foot consistently, just having to respond to what DK is doing. And the momentum shift definitely feels like it's going toward DK.
I don't know if it's really the Tyrael, but against Na'Vi, it seems like whenever they get Tyrael, they're really playing very, very well. With Sanctification and Divine Chill, comboing up really good mechanics to keep the whole team up and alive. But on the flip side, we do have Tyrael now in Team DK's favor. So I don't know if in the next game, they're going to have Tyrael either banned out or snatched away again.
Yeah, we could definitely see something like that. Both of them seem to be looking at bans very targeted toward their opponents in the draft. So we'll see how that is affected if we get a next game. But right now it's looking pretty good for DK. They've got a Garden Tear. They are going to be looking at that keep in the bottom because that is where they already opened up the avenue here, and they should be able to get this.
Oh, look at the Garden Tear. HP down to 50% already. Phoenix comes out to force a bit of a disengage on the side of Team DK. JPL, he is the Diablo. It could be a bit of a tricky and cheeky pick, but it seems like it's not paying out well. Oh, SESE with a nice wall out, and we have the Divine Chill on Killthought. It's not enough to pick up the Jaina though in Ice Block, and Sniper taking a bit of a damage. Shadow Charge going in, and the Ring of Frost connects only on one target, and we have the Garden Terror taking out that Killthought. The rest of the team in a lot of trouble. It's completely chaotic. Na'Vi completely out of control. We have Team DK going in. Splendor will be the next target. 3 men down, and we have Team DK knocking on the core. It will not be in time. We still see some heal from Uther, but we do have the Johanna and Diablo. What is Warrior good enough? It is not. I don't think they can stop this aggression coming from Team DK. They hit level 20. They get a Stomp Talent, and 20 seconds remaining before you see the Killthought respawn. Meanwhile, Diablo's gone already, and you still see a little bit of shield coming in from Johanna, and for the longest possible time, they still are not knocking on the core. The core finally goes down, and we see Muradin, the Candy King, jumping for the nice little crest right there. Just awesome finishing move.
Jumping for joy.
Oh, yeah, really?
Man, DK, but especially SESC, that holy ground, right in between the keep and the wall so that they couldn't escape. That was so cool to see. That was my move of the day for sure.
It is. It's a great maneuver. But speaking of move of the day, I'd like to find out from the expert Todd, what is your move of the day here?
Oh, there was quite a few cool moves here, I thought, in this game. In particular, I think Tyrael waiting until almost level 13 to pick his heroic. That was really nice here. Keeping that a secret, making sure he knew, or rather, his entire team knew what all the opponent's heroics were going to be before picking his own. That was really nice, but there is 2 moments in particular I want to take a look at here. So let's jump into our Windows 10 game DVR replay. So here, we are at the 13th minute, and Navi, they're going to get chased a little bit. They use the Mighty Gust to try and get out, but in the end, they get chased a little bit more. And I really thought that this was going to be good for them and they were going to be able to get out. But I guess Diablo messed up a little bit here in coming back to try and help his teammates, and he got caught. Yeah, he tried to go in, pulled back, but then ended up dying. So that was a little bit of a mistake, but now towards the end, Team DK, they're level 19 against 17. They get right in there, and then you talked about it. The holy ground over there just catches Eternal and Splendor completely off guard, and then Splendor has to make a choice on the spot. He has to decide, does he use Divine Chill on himself or on Kael'thas? And you'll see right away what he does here. He'll use it on Kael'thas, but then that means that he's exposed himself, takes a lot more damage. He's gonna throw down one more heal on Eternal, but then there is also, oh yeah, the Ring of Frost was really good a choice as well. That catches the Kael'thas here, takes him down, and then behind this, I mean, the Terror already did so much damage, the keep goes down. If you can get 3 takedowns here at this stage of the game, and you're on your opponent's score immediately, that's going to be game every single time. So just a great game here altogether from Team DK on Garden up there. And I really feel like Navi, they weren't ready to play on this map as well as their opponents.
I really loved the Ring of Frost too, when stopping the Mighty Gust from being as effective in the disengage that we saw earlier in the game too. That was so fantastic. They were able to get 3 takedowns off of that too.
It's a huge counter really against the Mighty Gust from Feldstad. Now, we've seen some really, really good plays from both sides, but I really want to find out Navi's team strengths, and we're now going to hear from them about that.
The best thing about Splendor is that he watches a lot of replays and it makes him come up with new things that we never tried before. Eternal is really good for us because he's the one comfortable in making the big plays, so he can take risks and it often works out. The best thing about Jay is that he will always deliver with any hero we give him. Alex will always win his lane, whatever hero is on, he will always deliver on the laning phase.
The thing about our captain that I like the most is that he's doing all of the interviews.
Our captain liked Taylor Swift and that's very awesome.
We're not gonna be the same team without his amazing hair.
그렇게 뭐 걱정은 크게 되지 않고 한국 팀들이 가장 강하다고 생각을 하고 계속 게임을 했었기 때문에 경기 스타일 차이만 잘 보완한다면은 큰 문제 없을 것 같아요. 어차피 뭐 한국이 가장 세다고 생각을 하고 그래서 저희 한국팀 다 이기고 올라와서 저희가 우승할 것 같으니까 즐기다 가시면 될 것 같아요.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the third game between Team DK and Navi. We have with us here a very exciting series, and I'm Babel. Joining me today is Gillyweed as well as Todd. We're really happy to be commentating on this most epic game of this series. I believe it's the best game so far we've seen out of today. And I don't know what the predictions will be right now. I'm completely confused. We saw the same draft, but a completely different playstyle.
Yeah, and on a completely different map as well. I think that's what really helped Team DK in doing well. The interviews are great, by the way. I love how like his teammates here, Schwimpy, they mentioned his hair, and you just see him in action. Even Alex, the prodigy, calling him, saying he looks like Taylor Swift. And then the Koreans, their interview, they don't even mention Europe. They were like, if we can adapt to the North American teams, then we'll be able to do well. Okay, like what about Europe?
Oh, did you feel a little slighted there?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, maybe they'll learn right now. Team DK against Navi, this is a close series, and I believe everyone has been waiting for Europe to prove themselves. If they can take down a Team DK, this is revenge. You remember the previous global tournament where you had MVB Black taking out 2 European teams, Virtus Pro as well as Team Liquid. Now, if Navi can revenge, this is going to be that game.
Yeah, they want to take that revenge. They want to prove that European teams should have been mentioned in that video. Say, hello, you kind of overlooked us. But we'll see if that's the case. I'm wondering if now Navi will choose to go for a battleground that they feel more comfortable on, knowing that they were able to be thrown off by Garden of Terror pick, or if they'll want to go for that first pick again because they really have been prioritizing getting that Uther early on.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a tough choice to make, to be honest. Both choices that you can make can mean some kind of advantage or disadvantage, and in the end, a lot of the time I feel like for these teams, the battleground's going to be very important, but it seemed like so far a lot of the teams they've been prioritizing the first pick over anything else.
Yeah, there's really just a few teams who really prioritize having the battleground advantage, being able to choose where the battle will take place, if you will. YL being one of those that definitely always wants to get the battleground choice as much as they can.
All right, I guess we don't have to wait much longer. The draft is ready, and game number 3 will happen right now. The battleground will be Haunted Mines.
Oh, what better map to run things on than the Haunted Mines? Well, any map, you tell me.
Oh, and by the way, Na'Vi chose this. Team DK, they went with first pick. So Na'Vi, they lost the last game, and they will now have this battleground. Haunted Mines, I don't know, man. To me, this is one of the most dangerous battlegrounds because you don't know what to expect going up and down those elevator shafts between the mines and level 1. It's like basement 1 and level 1. It could be a very different feeling.
Maybe a little bit of secret practice.
Yeah.
Not just on this map, or even in terms of composition here. Maybe they have something special planned here.
Yeah, it's got to be something, right? Because when we typically look at Haunted Mines being picked by the team who is just lost, who is down, it's always been in Asia that I've seen it. So seeing Na'Vi pick it here, that is super interesting to me, as well as them banning Uther. So realizing that they're not going to be the first pick this time, they also don't want to give Uther a very, very high priority hero for Na'Vi.
Yeah, in Europe there is one team that does that sometimes, that's Fnatic, and they've done well with it sometimes in the past. But in this case, I expected something like Tomorrow Spider Queen. I think if Na'Vi were to pick a map, so a little bit surprised.
Yeah, Muradin gonna get the first pick from DK, and that's gonna be pretty exciting for me. I mean, they really prioritize this Muradin. They have Muradin in the first pick for all 3 games. But for Na'Vi now, they will have a few options. Are they gonna snatch that Jaina? That's the main question I have here. Uther's already banned up by themselves, so they don't want to give Uther to Team DK. It's gonna be Arthur's first pick. Wow, stealing Arthur's away from SESC. That is some bold statement.
Yeah, it is, and Alex, the Pro G, can now show us his Pro Arthas plays. But the Muradin really calls into question what you do here for Na'Vi, so I like that early pickup because do you give the opportunity for a Muradin to Ronda? Do you give that up here for favor of, like, damage? Oh! Yeah. She's here! She's here, guys!
Yeah, we
Last
waited for
game!
it. All day. She waited to do this the whole day, I have to tell you. She was practicing behind the whole time.
Oh, she's been screaming quite a bit, actually, today.
Well, we got Arthas and Sonya, and that is going to be pretty exciting. Sonya was a little bit banned in first 2 games, but now Na'Vi is going to get that. And we saw Team DK ban Sonya in the Korean Super League against MVP Black. It seems to be the Achilles heel. Like, they don't want to deal with Sonya generally, just always banning Sonya. The games that they didn't ban Sonya, they lost. So I'm saying this.
I'm liking it.
Oh, Todd, smiling, big smiles right there. And both teams, they really want to win here because what's at stake is the fact that they can take a day off at BlizzCon. The first day, they don't have to play. They can study their opponents, they can go shopping, they can accompany the family. It is such a good feeling going into the second day directly. But we're going to have Jaina again for Team DK.
Yeah, just one of the more solid picks out there that you can go for. Na'Vi, though, building up the rest of their composition here is going to be interesting since they open in such an, I guess, non-standard way here with Arthas and Sonya.
Yeah, it's really a composition that says we want to go for picks, we want to get the early advantage, and of course that makes sense. You're on Haunted Mines. You have to play that way. So looking at the Jaina and Muradin, that's sort of going the same way. You know, they have the ability to do that too. And then Sylvanas, I mean, what else can be said about Sylvanas on Haunted Mines? She's scary.
And DK, they love their Sylvanas, actually. Almost pretty much on any map now. It makes a lot more sense than on some of the other maps that they picked around to pick on Haunted Mines.
First pick or not, it's always the same order. Muradin, Jaina, Sylvanas. It's just this 3 that Team DK really wants to run. And it's interesting because we spoke to Team DK before, and they say they've got such a wide hero pool that they're really just focusing on themselves. But what we see here today is them going in and playing one specific compositions only. And that is something I'm not really comfortable with. Na'Vi, they really want to play 3 warriors. I think it's pretty clear that they want to fall back on the strategy to throw Team DK off. But they ban out the ETC, and Team DK here with another ban.
It will be Tassadar. So potentially, of course Tassadar has the potential to pick up reinforced structure, which makes his shields really, really strong when defending versus damage on structures. So they could be looking at that route, but also the fact that if they want to go for burst, a lot of times when you have a burst composition, you have just enough damage to be able to take someone out, and having Tassadar helps shield just long enough so that you can survive that burst and then start to turn. Plus the shields on Sonya would be scary.
Yeah, he's one of the all-around best heroes on this map as well. For the defense, he can go for Mule, so always one hero to look out for. And now Kerrigan and TRL get picked up.
Wow.
That's a lot of melee heroes here.
Yeah, it is. Wow. I mean, I've got nothing to say here. Na'Vi is a team that continuously surprises all of us. They played in the EU finals without a warrior, and now they have got like 4 frontliners. This is directly in your face. They're going to dive. They're going to go in.
Is it going to be Karazim down the line? Yeah.
Pretty high chance. But I think Team DK may steal that away, so we'll have to see what it's going to be.
Okay, picture this. Sintra Koza, Sonya and Kerrigan jump in. TRL has Sanctification to keep everybody alive in the fight. This is going to be wild here. This is Grubby's... he said 4 melee assassin and Sanctification. This is...
Yeah, see?
This is not quite that just yet, but this is pretty close to it.
Yeah, and it seems like the bald guy will go to Team DK. I'm sorry, but this is a good steal, and I like it a lot. Karazim and Johanna, this is going to deny Na'Vi of the best support for the front line that Karazim. But they do have a few options available, and I think Malfurion may not be as good, but at least it's going to be kind of viable. He just need to play a little bit more aggressively, maybe take Ice Block. I don't know how this is really going to work out. Rhaegar, it's like really down there below as well.
Brightwing.
Brightwing is the other one.
Yeah, I like Brightwing. Just the fact that she can soak for as long as possible to help them try to keep ahead in experience, and the fact that she can constantly blink in, but then be behind, and there she is. Friends?
No,
Friends?
no. Get that irritating housefly off me, please. We got Brightwing, Tyrael, Kerrigan, Sonya, Arthas. This is as good as a composition with Karazim. I kind of personally prefer Karazim a lot more because of the fact that he provides all the utility, and you just don't know whether they're going for Divine Palm or 7-sided Strike. Although it being a European team, there's a 99% chance it's going to be a Divine Palm. We've seen only Divine Palm from the EU teams today. And Brightwing, she does provide so much more. With Polymorph, you can really zone out an enemy. You can just go all in, and that's exactly what she provides here. I will not be surprised if it's going to be the full-on shield build.
I think they would have been a lot happier with the Karazim though on their team. That's definitely not one of the things that they're going to be happy with having that stolen.
Yeah, absolutely. But they'll go with the next best thing.
Yep,
My favorite fairy dragon.
It's interesting because this is Brightwing, and remember, the battleground is Haunted Mines. The amount of mobility Brightwing has on this battleground is even more than Feldstad. So, well, she can be everywhere, and that will be pretty tricky to play off against, given the fact that it's such a small battleground, and you really want to have maximum mobility to capitalize on mispositionings by enemy, as well as the fact that they are going for different objectives, whether it's pushing the lane or going down for the skulls in the basement. And it will be pretty interesting to see.
Na'Vi are showing massive guts here to try this in the last game here of the series, in a game this important. I'm really surprised that these guys, they showed some real heart and courage here.
They played the last battleground of European Championship, let's not forget, without a single warrior. So they have courage, I guess, in the face of danger, for sure.
Yeah. Well, what can I say? High risk, high return. They're going all in this game. And we know for sure that they are ready, because this is something they've been preparing for a really long time now. I know Todd will always be on EU, so I'm not going to bother myself asking him this question. But Gilly, please, let me know, which composition do you favor?
I'm also biased.
You are?
Because
Against?
there's a Brightwing!
I'm so sorry, guys. I guess I have to rely on my own professional judgment here. And I actually kind of like Na'Vi as well. So the whole desk, we're really, really impressed with Na'Vi's creativity going into this game. But generally, it will be very nice to see how this pulls off. Can Team DK out-rotate this aggressive, hyper-aggressive, if you will, composition from Na'Vi? And we'll see how this is going to pan out in game number 3. Thank you, Todd. We're going to see you again at the end of this game. And we're going in right now. This is Haunted Mines. It's a dream come true. The last game of opening week for Heroes of the Storm. And we got Team DK against Na'Vi, 1 on each side. Game number 3 on the blue team. Team DK, crazy moving as that Jaina. Jaehyun on the Karazim. Noblies as his favorite, renowned Johanna SCSC onto that Meridian. Last but not least, we got Sylvanas being played by Sniper.
And their opponents in red for the 3rd game and final one in this series. We have Na'Vi with Alex the Proji playing Tyrael Eternal on Kerrigan, JPL playing Sonya, Shrimpy will be on Arthas, and Splendor playing that Brightwing.
Yeah, it's going to be a really epic game right here, because we got 2 of the best teams in the world facing off in the 3rd and final game. The stakes are really high. You want to make sure that you get an automatic seed into the 2nd day of BlizzCon, directly into the semifinals. finals as compared to having to play all over again on the first day, facing off teams that have already dropped down to the lower bracket. But here we go, and already the split's pretty interesting, Gilly. We're looking at a 4-man from DK at the bottom lane and a solo Muradin at top. And Navi is splitting, they're still deciding right now. Maneuver's not really clear just yet, but I guess they really want to have the option of reacting to this Team DK strategy.
Yeah, when you are up against a Sylvanas on Haunted Mines, you absolutely have to react to that, and you can't go for pushing your own Golem lane. You have to defend wherever Sylvanas is, because that takes most priority over everything.
Oh, it's not Transcendence. I'm just kidding. It is Transcendence, and it's the usual build for Karazim. It is the standard that we're going into this game as well. Nothing really surprising. Ooh. Nice try there by Navi, but as he just knows how much is at stake right here. Got to play really safe. Sylvanas doing a lot of work in the bottom lane, and Team DK making sure that they materialize the push as much as possible. She does have the black arrows, and those really turn off the structures, the minions that's pushing out the lane. And it's important to note that you get so much more from just applying those black arrows.
Man, they drained a ton of ammo just off of that push from the towers. They're already more than halfway down, and that's a little bit scary. That's why we see Navi, all of them here, trying to defend versus that. Looking at some of the builds we have, I wanted to point out that we have block on Arthas. A lot of times we see Regen Master from him, but there's a couple of things at stake here. Some teams don't like Regen Master on Haunted Mines because you are out of lane for so long fighting in the mines. Also, when you know that you're going for more of an early game aggression or up against early game aggression a lot as well, you can go for that block too, because it takes a while for Regen Master to start scaling up.
It does, and what's interesting is Sylvanas. I'm not sure if she went for with the win or Bob shot. We're going to have to check that out on Sylvanas. It is with the win, so that's standard. Not really going for extra damage on minions and mercenaries, but we'll see how this is going to work out. We got Crazy moving at the mines now, taking a bit of a scout, and we got 34 already going to Team DK. And for Navi, they only have 16, and it seems like they're not really able to get any of those easy scouts and those small pots of minions there, but it seems like Crazy moving in a lot of trouble, and down goes Jaina already. Nobilis pulling back. SC in the back line. Alex already trying to zone out with a bit of a body block, but a nice dog toss is going to save the rest of Team DK, and they're all going to just split ways right now.
This is a great position for DK to be in, even though they had lost someone, because, like you mentioned, they picked up all of the easy camps. They have, even if losing somebody, because respawn timers are so low, they can be content to just completely leave the mines here. They know that they have the Sylvanas, so even if you have a slightly less skull-favored Golem, it's still, you can get a lot of work done when you are pushing with the Sylvanas on top of it.
Well, this is kind of greedy. Crazy moving, going for the meat bruiser camp already. I'm not sure how Navi's going to react to this. They may actually go with a direct rotation down. We have 56 against 44 in favor for Navi here, and Eternal as the Kerrigan. We also see Splendor with a nice pot in using the phase shift. Alex the Prodigy is going to spot this one out, and DK immediately pulls back.
Sonya is coming up from the bottom, and we're going to look to be into an engagement as a Condemn goes down into the Blizzard, and they take a ton of damage right off the bat.
And Alex the Prodigy having to pull back, but we may actually see the Bruiser Camp going to the blue team, and Team DK will also get a free T-Rail. This is not going to be good. They get a bit of EXP lead, but they also have the meat camp pushing, plus the fact that the Golems are really just very close. It doesn't really matter at this stage.
Yeah, now both teams are going to step back, pick up their Siege Giants, because this is the time that you want to start to get them, because if you can cap them at the right point, they will help you defend versus those Golems, and both want to be able to have that defense. Because we see a Sylvanas on the side of DK, even though their Golem is slightly less, they may be content to just let these Giants be the primary defense and choose to push with that Sylvanas and the Golem.
It really depends, and it's interesting to see the decision from both sides. We got Team DK pushing with the Golem. 3 of the heroes are here, whereas the rest of them are just trying to catch out the enemy on the bottom side of this battleground. We also got the Raid Golem just pushing, and hold that thought, we got Kerrigan just blown up, and Navi's very own Alex the Prodigy having to zone out himself. We also got SESC way behind enemy line. Shrimpy dropping a lot of HP, and we still see the takedown, and it's 2-man for nothing exchange.
Now, we have Sylvanas with a Golem on the fort, and how do Navi have to defend it? Because with no structures attacking the Golem, because Sylvanas has shut them down, they have to move into position because they have 4 melee. That is the perfect way, especially with Johanna, to be able to try to catch somebody out of position, maybe even catch them in the slam or the roots from the Golem.
It seems like Sonya is just really not doing damage just yet. We have the whole team being very hyper-aggressive, but they're just losing in terms of fight because of the amount of damage that Jaina and Sylvanas does provide. Here you see another coordinated push coming up from Team DK. They just took out the top fort. They're now going for the bottom fort. And Na'Vi, they're just almost one full level down. Gotta make sure that they don't lose this fight or it's gonna be level 10.
Now we look for a potential Howling Blast, and they do find the root on Jaehyun, who will be able to Radiant Dash away. And here comes Brightwing with the phase shift in.
The team is complete. Shrimpy dropping a lot of HP, won't go down first. Next in line, it seems like Brightwing, the Soul Healer, will not be able to run away. Maybe able to flap those wings fast enough, like a small little house flight that he rightfully is. I'm so sorry, Gilly. I know you love this guy. But yeah, we have 5 targets still up and alive here on Team DK. They're almost getting a level 10. They're pushing down the fort, and we still have that tower also going down, and Team DK with a very good lead in this third game.
2 forts, 6 towers off of that. They are nearly level 10, and just now 8 has been picked up. So let's take a break and at least look at some of these talents while we maybe have a chance to do so, although Alex, the Pro G, you could be in a tough spot here. He's actually just going to go into the mines, and the chase is going to go on.
Yeah, Tyrael riding the Dire Wolf, having to pull back. They will not be able to catch him. He is kind of fast on that. We do have, however, Na'Vi in a really, really bad spot. I mean, they picked this battleground. They picked this kind of draft going into this battleground, expecting a full-on aggression, but it seems like Team DK just outmaneuvered them really, really well, and we have some heroics for Team DK now.
All right, let's see what they picked up. We have Blessed Shield, once again, the Ring of Frost, and it will be Divine Palm. Looking at, they also have Wailing Arrow, which is going to go out right now into the Ring of Frost.
And Ring of Frost not doing anything there. We still have a bit of a slow applying there onto the enemy team, and it seems like Shrimpy is just trying to go in on Noblesse, but Noblesse, that is his best hero, the Johanna, and it seems like it's a 3-for-0 exchange. Na'Vi is just really not prepared for this.
This is such a frustrating place to play in for Na'Vi. It was their battleground choice, and now they find themselves down a full level as the next mine phase will start to spawn. In every mine phase, the Golem gets stronger, just like we've seen with the other battleground mechanics. Look, DK fully spread out to take as many of those small camps as possible. Once again, they are not letting the pressure up at all.
Yeah, we're going to see Noblesse flash the shield glare directly into the opposing side of this grass, just spot out. Maybe not. They just reveal themselves, so that's going to save us some mana. But everyone else seems to be going down to the bottom basement mines area, and this is where the rest of Team DK is exactly at. With Johanna flanking from behind, this will look to be very scary. But it looks like it's almost going to be a 100 Skull Golem for Team DK. Na'Vi still trying to rotate here on top. They don't have level 10, and this is where Team DK will capitalize and get that 100 Skull.
Oh, Johanna play was so fantastic there, spotting out to see exactly when everyone goes in. They set Tyrael down, and then everyone else was just very scared of that Johanna flank, like you said. 100 Skull Golem on top of a Sylvanas Babel. Yeah, they've picked up their heroic abilities, but it's already at the keep stage.
It seems like they just lost way too much in the early game. They lost like 7 kills as well as 2 forts, and that's really, really punishing the team right now. They can try and play catch-up, but it's not going to be easy for them. The whole team is just slowly comprehending this. They're just taking a step back. They're not really soaking the lanes, plus it's Haunter Mines. You know, there's not really a lane to soak.
Right, and looking at the heroic abilities, you guys were right on the money with the Summon Syndragosa as well as Sanctification, the Maelstrom, Wrath of the Berserker. Even though I would love some Leap, I guess it will be Wrath of the Berserker. And then, of course, Blink Heal 2 for Brightwing.
Yeah, well, Na'Vi is just struggling to defend this right now, and Team DK, they don't even really have to bother themselves with the Grave Golem that's pushing down the bottom side. Here comes Syndragosa, maybe a good engagement, post level 10. We'll see Na'Vi going into position there. Sanctification coming out, the whole team moving forward. They know they can't take this fight, but the Ring of Frost connects, and it seems like Arthas is dropping way too much HP. Kerrigan, the first one to go down, Eternal and Scott. Noblesse getting saved by the Divine Palm, and the whole team still want to push ahead, but Noblesse HP is just so low. Alex the Progi trying to zone out the enemy. Here comes the Brightwing, Bling Heal, but it's not going to be now. Down goes the Tyrael, down goes the Arthas, and it seems like Na'Vi is just falling apart. We have the Grave Golem knocking on the keep. This just may be the fastest game we've seen the whole day, and Na'Vi goes, it's a 5-man team wipe. The keep goes down, the Golem is still alive, and this is really disastrous for Na'Vi.
DK are continuing their advance too. They're helping the Golem take out the tower. The Golem, though, is fairly low, but they're still looking. If they can get some more takedowns right here, this could be game ending. You're totally right. They're going for Eternal. The body blocks are there. They take out Kerrigan on top of it. Alex, the Progi, and Shrimpy have to get out of here, but still the respawn respawn timers at least are low enough that we do have Na'Vi just barely getting back in here and pushing DK away, but already the Golem is sitting on core.
Yeah, Na'Vi just giving a huge sigh of relief right there, knowing that Team DK still has not got this game. They still have a chance going into this one here, although they're one talent tier down, and it looks to be extremely close, but as long as they take a good team fight, it's still going to be possible. And with such a hyper-aggressive lineup, you don't know how that's exactly going to work out. I can only say that it is really crazy moving Jaina to Fear, because at the end, that Ring of Frost just locked them in place for so much damage from the Sylvanas, from, even Johanna has got Burning Rage, so that's really going to do a lot of work.
Yeah, we even saw too what they were trying to do. The Sanctification is supposed to allow Kerrigan to go in with the Maelstrom and start building up her assimilation shield so that she can continue on into the fight. But she wasn't able to do that the last time that they ran it, so it's going to be something that they definitely need to be able to hit. But they find themselves down 3 full levels. They're looking at the potential to be down 2 talent tiers here on Haunted Mines.
Yeah, here comes Syndra, goes out, sniper out of position, and Sylvanas with the Divine Pump still stays alive. Whirling Arrow connection finally goes down, perfectly timed. Bloodchill coming up, and the Sanctification keeps everyone alive. The whole town is still standing. Na'Vi going in. Johanna goes out. SC dropping. Tyrael wants that burst. We'll get it only on SC. Crazy moving, getting punished really hard. Jaina is addressed, and SC is the only Muradin alive at the end of that. Wow.
That is exactly what Na'Vi needed to do. They just got 4 for nothing and they were down. Now they find themselves, they've got 13. They immediately are going to go and grab as many structures as they can, build themselves back up. They've also taken a great engagement just in time for mines, so they should be able to get the set up a little bit sooner too.
And it seems like Brightwing has got a very interesting pick at level 13. That is really going to help Na'Vi advance the cost a lot more. I mean, this is a talent that will really give a bit of extra shield when you heal.
Right, it is that's shield dust right there. So what it will be doing is allowing them to basically take down some of the ability damage that comes out whenever she puts her pixie dust on somebody too. And that, I mean, who better to do that against than a Jaina, right?
Yeah, well, you really want to avoid the burst, which is why you have so much ability damage on the side of Team DK. This is going to help that one target just stay alive, and I think it's going to be pretty awesome to see. Meanwhile, we're seeing a complete reversal right here. 28 scouts against 42. And it's pretty clear to me that Na'Vi, they know that they're back into this game. Just got to make sure that they maintain this momentum. They know exactly what they're doing. Want to get a level 16 ASAP, because that's going to be what's going to be important.
Unfortunately for them, they still find themselves with a Golem on the core. So the mind games are there, and they know that this is going to be really tough. We could definitely see them try to go in for the engagement right here. They did it once down a talent tier. Can they do it again, Babel?
Great play by Sniper, by the way. Maybe they can. Here comes Inagosa. Maybe pop the Sanctification today. Finally goes out. Sylvanas goes down. Whole team still alive. Jaina also addressed 2 damage dealers. Oh, God. They can take this fight. SCSC trying to jump away, but it's a little bit too fat for that. And the team gives chase. Na'Vi hard on pursuit, and it seems like Muradin is healing up way too much. They will not bother themselves. They got a Golem on the core. In a few seconds, they have to pot back. SCSC is going to come in here to stop that a little bit. Kerrigan gets left behind. 1 versus 1. This is a dream come true for all the players. We've never seen this before, but the rest of them, they're just defending the core. The core shield just dropping right now. Kerrigan coming out here, but it's an ambush, and Eternal may just go down. We see a lot of damage from Jaehyun, but she's just buying a lot of time, and Eternal is trying to stay alive right now. He is just doing his best, and SCS, he goes and picks off the kill. Meanwhile, the core shield is barely dropping. The rest of them are just defending, and it seems like Eternal just saved the game.
Man, Na'Vi is turning this around. Not only were they able to buy so much time with that Kerrigan, time that they weren't pushing with that Golem, they didn't even lose health off of the core with that Golem, even though it was the bigger one. But they also have had impeccable timings with these Sanctifications. That's exactly what they have to do. They wait until they absolutely need to use it, and then on top of that, here comes the Maelstrom on top of it. And now they're back up. They've caught back up in terms of talent tiers. We even have Bouncy Dust for Brightwing. I love that talent. That means that when she throws it onto a hero, if they hit another hero, it's going to bounce to them. And guess what? That means that both of them now get the shield dust. And with so many melee, that's pretty likely to happen.
Wow, this is just bouncing good time. You're looking at all of them with increased resistance against spell damage, and that is going to be pretty huge against a team with Jaina as well as Sylvanas. Karazim, he doesn't really have much damage, but all of that will add up if you look at it that way. And now what's perfectly good is that they're already level level 16 for Na'Vi. They're playing catch-up. They're down by 8 kills. And they have a golem on the core, but they're not giving up just yet. A perfect spirit, and Eternal goes in. It's gonna be the Summoners again. Sniper with a bit of the polymorph on himself, trying to pull back and a willing arrow to disengage. But it seems like Na'Vi just doesn't care. And we still have the Kerrigan in front, the Sanctification behind, and the team fight split into 2. Syndra goes to slowing 3 targets. Tyrael buying even more time. They don't have the damage. Jaina gets blown apart with the ice block, saving her a little bit longer, but she will still go down. 2 men already gone. We still have Na'Vi going full on against the Koreans, Team DK.
Alex, the Pro G's holy ground was insane there in being able to pick up yet another takedown here. Na'Vi are turning it around here. They've had the golem on the core for so long, and yet you mentioned it, they're not giving up. They're gaining momentum. This is looking so good for them now.
Yeah, they have the Brightwing, they have the Bouncy Dust, they have all of those cute stuff that I don't like, but in general, that is just a team composition that's going to work in a late game. And it's proving right now, Team DK is trying to take it slow, but no matter how slow it is, the mines will open, the golems will spawn. You got to make sure that you can win team fights, because that's the essence of this battleground.
It absolutely is. Indeed, you are right, Babel. Now, looking at the talents that we have slowly been picked up by Na'Vi, we have a lot of self-sustainability, which has really started to help them with their team fights, which is why they've started to be able to turn it around just so much.
Yeah, and you see a bit of a phase shift coming in on Eternal. That's going to help give Eternal a bit of a shield there. And it seems like Team DK, they are just having a bit of a fear right now. They don't have the ability to go in, and they don't have the level lead. So they got to make sure they play it slow, they take it slow, they heal up. But with Karazim, and they're always consistently pulling back, how can you heal so much?
Now, we've got lots of self-sustainability on the side of Na'Vi, but we also have the ability to really just go for a takedown. And we might see that right here as they're going to see in another engagement.
And the Howling Blast connects. That stops the fight. There goes the Sanctification, a bit premature. This may not be what they want, but the Syndra goes and flies by again. And we have Noblesse just peeling for the team. Willing Arrow coming back out. Na'Vi, they don't have the weapon that they need. Noblesse still is at a very healthy HP. And Alex the Progi dropping. But we have the full-on aggression on that Jaina. The Ice Block buying some time, but she still takes the fall. Alex the Progi getting a bit of a heal. Not in time. We see that he Wrath of the Archangel's gonna burst out Karazim, a little bit of HP left on him. Noble is still against Arthas, and the fight extending. Karazim going down, 2-4-1. Na'Vi, they may be able to do something here.
That was so big to be able to have the one who went down on your side be that Tyrael, because he was still able to deal a lot of damage with the Archangel's Wrath. So realizing having him in that position so that he would be one of the better targets to take out has kind of went up against them, as they did lose 2 just for 1 there in that engagement.
Oh, this is going to be scary. I mean, Na'Vi, they're directly in the mines right now. They're getting those skull counts counting, and that's 54 already. We see Murdin in the center just taking up, I think, a total of 10. And maximum it's going to be 90 right now, but we still don't see that Jaina, and we don't see the Karazim. They're both still respawning. And again, another fight happening. JPL going in, just slamming, dropping the beats against SESC. Beautiful tunes right there. All base, no travel, and down goes Sylvanas. Na'Vi screams out in ecstasy.
Yeah, we just heard them yell. They're so happy with that pickup. That is Sylvanas down. That's the big deal. She's down for 50 more seconds. They go straight back into the mines. They want the big golem. They want to make sure that there's no way that anybody pushes with the golem against them because it's on the core. They want to be able to finally take down the keep and put their golems in the same place.
And Team DK with the mid bruiser cam already achieved, going for the bottom keep. They know they cannot win team fight. They don't have the stomp talents. They opt for a push. This is very smart, but the whole team on Na'Vi is going to pull back. They will lose the keep at the bottom lane, but it doesn't matter. It seems like they will try and go for a full-on push, but there are some bruiser cam pushing the bottom lane, and a bit of a flank from Tyrael from behind. Eternal trying to play catch up. Perfect holy ground, but the Ice Block's gonna disengage a little bit. There goes the extra shield dust, and it may not be enough. Down goes Jaina. That's a great takedown. And we got Jaehyun also dropping. Kerrigan is just moving too slow. It's not enough for a catch up just yet, but the whole team playing full on aggression right now. Gotta be careful. There is a golem on the core. It's still 100%. Navi can still win this. We're knocking on the tower. The whole team is at the bottom lane. Shrimpy with the rest of them knocking on the keep. The golem is shouting on it. As you can see, the whole team is pumped up. We may see a base race. I don't think it's gonna be this close, but it is. A sniper dropping a lot of HP. Here comes Eternal. Another polymorph. It may not be enough. And there goes the sanctification. The whole team knocking. Meanwhile, on the red side, the core is down to 90%. It's gonna be so close. We're gonna see Navi knocking, and they may just got it. 40%. They will go to day 2. They're screaming solo. Let's do it. That's what they say. And Navi wins this series.
Navi just took out Team DK, slated to win the entire BlizzCon even. They have done it, and I'm sure we have one very happy analyst about to tell us all about that game.
I can't really see him smile. He's barely talking anymore.
That game was absolutely crazy. They fell so far behind. I was almost in tears. And then all of a sudden, next thing you know, Navi are pulling miracles. I mean, let's not even wait. Let's jump into our Windows 10 game DVR replay here. I've picked a few moments. There were so many moments. I was actually struggling. I think we saved like 15 moments, and I decided to use like 3 in the end. There was just so many moments. So let's jump into it here if we're ready with our Windows 10 game DVR replay. Okay, we're not yet. I think, yeah, I just couldn't wait to show you guys. So this was actually when the trap was set up, and Navi, they were waiting in this spot. I think it was Muradin that was walking around here. And they waited for the longest time. They waited for a worthy target because you can't really catch a Muradin with Dwarf Toss. So they waited until other heroes were walking through. They jumped right on top of their opponents here. They had already kind of brought it back here at this point with some very good fights, some good Team Dracosa engagements. And it was still anybody's game here at this point. They had really already done a very good job of bringing it back. But now they end up chasing very nicely. They use every single heroic just on time. And they get a big, big fight win here in this fight against DK. After this really seemed like Navi, they never would ever, I guess, let go of the momentum that they had gained here in this game. And every single fight that took place after that, okay, this fight actually is the single most important fight of this entire game. It's level 18 against 18. Well, I mean, obviously the ones before that were important because they had to come back, but at this point, it's level 18 against 18. The mines just came up. So you can see that the skulls down there in the mines, they're already up. So now, basically, whoever wins the fight, if they can win it by a good enough margin, they're going to be able to go down the mines and get a lot of the skulls, which obviously really help with the victory here. So we see Navi really getting in there, DK, a traditional DK trademark. They pull back at first, but then they turn around. Sanctification was used pretty early here. I think Babel pointed that very nicely. So it looked a little bit dicey at first for Navi. But then it really started to look like, again, they were the ones going for the fight properly. They were going to try to take down people very quickly. That Jaina got polymorphed and barely made it out before finally being sniped. And that fight, once again, here went Navi's way. Even though TL gets blown up, he's able to chase down a little bit. They get, I think, a 2-for-1 trade here is what they got out of this. And behind this, they just went down the mines. They got so many skulls already. You can see here down there, it's 10 to 90 in total, which is just massive. I mean, that golem's just going to come out and do so much. Team DK, they got desperate. They lost patience here. Their level, you can see here, 19 against 20. They're not supposed to be across the map here trying to make something happen, but they are trying to get a keep, which they got. But Navi reacted so nicely. They never let them get out of here. So now they chase, and they use this holy ground here very nicely that will isolate here the Karazim. And, I mean, the rest is history, basically. They just catch them out of position. Jaina gets blown up. As per usual at this point. They just completely chase them down, kill pretty much everybody one by one up until the point they can just finish the game. Just a fantastic game here to close out this day and series out of Navi.
It was my favorite game by far, the entire day. That was so freaking cool. That comeback was amazing.
I reckon it's the bananas they were feeding Team DK. You could see the amount of bananas that were being thrown out. It was so good. I mean, they were so tasty. And I mean, Todd is just all smiles right now, and we're just really happy. So once again, we have done all the matches that we've got arranged for today. And a bit of a recap of the day, a very interesting fact, 4 matches went to 3 games. This is intense. I mean, I've never expected this, it to be this close. I mean, Team DK, they just had so much confidence, but look who's in the lower bracket. It's Team DK.
Yeah, it's on the verge of elimination, potentially. I mean, in the elimination match of that group.
Oof.
You like how that sounds, don't you? I don't know.
Yeah, it's
I mean, it's EU pride for thought. It's perfectly understandable for me.
it actually sounds, if they end up making out of their group, that they're going to play Cloud9.
Oh, yeah.
Which would be crazy. But first, they're going to have to beat whoever makes it out of
Group
that.
B.
Yeah, of the I guess, lower bracket match.
All right, so speaking about brackets, to let you guys come up to date with us, we got all the brackets ready here. First of all, Group A, we started this series with Cloud9 winning and Team Dignitas taking out Team YL, and both of them faced off in a very close series. Cloud9 will be playing in the final day of BlizzCon, whereas we're going to start the lower bracket there as well for Group A and on the first day. Now for Group B, it is going to be Team DK against Na'Vi, and we just saw that really, really well. Na'Vi going to the final day of BlizzCon, and we have Tempo Storm against Braveheart, and the winner of that will face Team DK. So this has just been a very, really interesting series. We also have the final bracket here, and this is where Na'Vi, they're waiting for the lower bracket winner of Group B, and for Cloud9, they're waiting for the lower bracket winner of Group B. So that is where you have Group A and B splitting sides, and we have a lot of money that's on the line. Now, next week matches at BlizzCon, that's going to be on the Friday, November 6th. This is the schedule we have for you guys. For all the events at BlizzCon, check them out at blizzcon.com. But the first two matches will be GIA versus Team YL, and all Asian face-off. And we got Tempo Storm versus Braveheart for match 8. This too will happen. And I guess I had a great time here, guys. What about you?
I had a fantastic time, Babel. We had so many good series. You mentioned it. We had so many go to Game 3 too, just really showing how evenly matched all of these teams really are.
Yeah, we saw really some huge clash of the regions. A lot of their different style really coming out and shining, and in the end, it's pretty, I guess, spread out in terms of success. You know, one North American team made it out of Group A, a European made it out of Group B, so...
We can all be happy?
I guess, if we're biased, yes. And that they're still... Everybody's still in. Nobody got eliminated yet. That's what makes it crazy as well. Yeah. It's going to feel like some very long few days, I feel, for this team that have to play again. They're going to be under a lot of stress. They're going to want to, I guess, condition themselves, go meditate, hit the gym, watch replays, study.
They got 5 days for that, and I mean, I'm just very excited. And this whole bracket that happened today was just really awesome. And you know what's going to happen. Heroes and teams will be crawling, and their hands and feet will be numb. And I guess in the end, it's going to be the best team that will win BlizzCon. That's it for all of us here, and I have Anna to close up the night. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Babel. Thank you, Babel. I agree. It has been such an epic ending to such a great day. And thank you all for hanging out with us as we played Heroes of the Storm and found out who is going to be closer to that championship. Congratulations, of course, to Cloud9 and Team Na'Vi for advancing to the championship bracket at BlizzCon. You've earned a well-deserved rest as we continue our BlizzCon World Championship opening week with more matches from Hearthstone, World of Warcraft, and StarCraft 2. But we'll see you at home again on November 6th and 7th, live from the Anaheim Convention Center in Anaheim, California, where all the action comes together at the epic gathering of the heroes, BlizzCon. We will see you there and on the battlefield.